Good evening, dear viewers. You're watching RTD's English News Edition. Here are our top stories for this evening. The head of state extends a congratulatory message to the King of Spain. And UNDP calls for debt relief for 54 countries. Thank you for joining us in our newsroom. Congratulatory message from the President of the Republic to King Felipe VI of Spain. The President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismael Margele, expressed wishes of success and achievement to the King Felipe VI of Spain and more progress, prosperity and fulfillment to the friendly Spanish people, commemorating these days the anniversary of their National Day. The people and government of Djibouti join me in expressing their sympathy to the friendly Spanish nation, wrote President Gele in a congratulatory telegram sent on Wednesday to King Felipe VI. We welcome this privileged ties of friendship and cooperation between our two countries and our two peoples, the head of state noted. In the same message, we are particularly attached to the preservation and promotion of the strategic partnerships that our two nations maintain in a central order of sectors. President Gele also said, reiterating his good wishes for a happy holiday to all the friendly Spanish people. A similar message was also sent to the President of the Republic of Equatorial Guinea, His Excellency Mr. Teodoro Obiang Nguema. And now the focus on the 14th Council of Ministers, which took place under the chairmanship of the head of state, His Excellency Ismael Margele. During this session of the Council of Ministers, many draft laws were discussed and referred to, strongly condemning the Terrorist Act that had cost the lives of 7 of our soldiers, with 4 injured and 6 missing. Taking note of this barbaric and heinous crime, the Council of Ministers adopted a bill qualifying the organization called Fruit Army as a terrorist. This bill will be forwarded to the National Assembly for examination and adoption. And for more details on the other bills, let's hear it from the government's spokesperson.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, sous la présidence du chef de l'État, son Excellence M. Ismael Margele, s'est tenue la 14e séance du Conseil des ministres en ce mardi 11 octobre 2022. Étaient inscrites à l'ordre du jour 5 questions. Au préalable, le Conseil des ministres s'est longuement penché sur les attaques terroristes de Garabtisan et qui ont causé la mort de 7 soldats, avec 4 blessés et 6 soldats portés.
During the 14th session of the Council of Ministers, the following texts were examined and approved. For the Ministry of Youth and Culture, first issue, draft law on the creation of the National Agency for the Promotion of Culture. This bill concerns the creation of the National Agency for the Promotion of Culture, created by Law Number 162, Year 22, 80th Legislature. This agency has for mission to develop, promote, and preserve the Djiboutian culture in order to inspire, encourage, and support the new dynamics of cultural development. The field of action is at the same time artistic and cultural. It includes all the cultural and artistic fields. The agency will have to administer and manage technical and human resources located on several sites. This structure will contribute to the development of the cultural promotion in the Republic of Djibouti. Second issue, draft decree amending the provisions of Decree Number 2014-162 PR6 relating to the modalities of granting the grand prize of the Head of State Youth Initiative. The purpose of the draft decree is to amend certain provisions of the decree on the modalities for granting the grand prize of the Head of State's Youth Initiative. This draft text updates and introduces necessary adjustments following the new missions of the ministerial department in charge of the implementation of the youth and culture policy. It provides for better targeting and more efficiency in favor of the commitment and initiative of young people with the granting of awards for any association and or any young person who has distinguished himself in a particularly exemplary manner in the field of activities ranging in priority from social, professional integration, popular education, and associative life. As for delegated ministry in charge of digital economy and innovation, third issue, draft decree on the establishment of the Djibouti Port Community System Platform. This draft decree aims to establish the Djibouti Port Community System Platform, which is a single portal for submission and completion of formalities in the port field. Faced with the growing challenges of competition, our country has equipped itself with important means to strengthen our geostrategic position. Significant investments have been made with the launch of deep water sports equipped with modern facilities to serve the latest generation of ships. These efforts have borne fruit by placing our port system among the best ports in Africa and in the world in terms of performance but also connectivity. Thanks to the ecosystems of maritime port and free zone projects resulting from the vision of the head of state, His Excellency Ismail Omar Guelleh, our country has also positioned itself as an essential trade hub. This trend toward digitalization is not new and has accelerated in recent years as a tool for competitiveness between ports, but also for countries with a vocation to become a hub in global trade. This platform will provide users with an efficient tool for the fluidization and facilitation of important cross-border formalities. The single submission platform for the entire port community will reduce transit time and improve the security and efficiency of cargo traffic management. Ministry of Justice and Penitentiary Affairs in charge of human rights. Fourth question, draft decree appointing the members of the National Commission of Human Rights. The following are appointed. For the public administration, Mr. Ali Subani Ateye, Mrs. Ifrah Ali Ahmed, and Dr. Muhammad Ibrahim. On behalf of the civil society, religious community, and university faculty researchers, Ms. Amina Ahmed Abdullahi, Mr. Muhammad Ali Muhammad, Mrs. Fathiya Dahir Abdullah, Mr. Abdullahi Osman Dahir were appointed. For the Ministry of Labor in charge of formalization and social protection, fifth question, draft decree on appointment. Mr. Idris Musa Ahmed, Senior Technical Advisor to the Minister of Youth and Culture is appointed. Mrs. Mahab Abdurrahman Ali, Technical Advisor of the Minister of Defense in charge of relations with the Parliament, and Mrs. Yasmin Ahmed Musa, Senior Technical Advisor to the Minister of City, Urbanism and Housing. Mr. Ahmed Abdullah Muhammad, Senior Technical Advisor to the Minister of Environment and Sustainable Development, and Ms. Bilan Hassan Ismail, Director of Sustainable Development.
Des droits de l'homme. Au titre de l'administration, M. Ali Soubani Ateye est nommé donc président de la commission, Mme Ifrah Ali Ahmed, membre, M. Ali Ahmed Dini, membre, au titre du barreau, de la société civile, de la communauté religieuse et du corps professoral, Mme Amina Ahmed Abdullahi, M. Mohamed Ali Mohamed, Mme Fathia Dahir Abdullahi et M. Abdullah Ousmane Dahir, donc sont les membres à part entière de cette commission.
And here we have messages from friendly countries. France condemns the attack and expresses its solidarity with the Djiboutian people and authorities. And France presents its condolences to the families of the deceased soldiers and expresses its solidarity with the injured. The United States of America also condemned the terrorist attacks, offering condolences to the families of the victims of this attack and also the terrorist attacks that targeted Djibouti forces participating in the ATMIS mission in Somalia. As for the Arab Parliament, in its statement of October 11, strongly condemned the terrorist attack by an armed group against military barracks in Gorabsan, killing 7 and injuring Djiboutian soldiers. The Arab parliamentary institution warned against such criminal acts that threaten the security and stability of the Arab world. It also expressed its sincere condolences to His Excellency the President of the Republic of Djibouti, his government, and the Parliament and the brotherly Djiboutian people. The Parliament reiterated its unwavering support for the Republic in its fight against terrorism and called on the international community to act appropriately and cooperate with Djibouti to arrest the perpetrators of this criminal act and identify their support and source of funding. The Arab Parliament, which has been working for a long time on the prevention of terrorism and extremism, calls on the Arab countries to promote and cooperate and coordinate approach to the fight against this scourge at all levels. And still in the national news, in accordance with the Article 22, paragraph 1 and 2 of the Rules of Procedures, the Conference of Presidents met this Wednesday under the chairmanship of Mr. Mohamed Ali Hamad, President of the National Assembly, in order to set the agenda of activities of the National Assembly. The government was represented by the Prime Minister Abdul Qadir Kamil Mohammed and the Minister of Defense in charge of relations with the Parliament, Mr. Hassan Omar Mohammed, also took part in this meeting. The first and the second Vice Presidents, Chairman of Standing Committees, and the Reporter General. In the course of the meeting, the conference transmitted 5 draft laws to the enlarged formation of the permanent commissions, such as the one in charge of finance, the one of legislation, or the Commission of Social Development, and finally the Commission of Production, in exchanges in closing and following the summary exchanges on the terrorist attack of the night of October 6 to 7, which plunged our armed forces in mourning. Get up to San, the president of the National Assembly, the members of the Bureau, and the conference joined by the Prime Minister and the Minister of Defense in charge of relations with the Parliament, reiterated their condemnation of this cowardly, despicable, and vile act, reaffirming, and finally they expressed their strong emotion toward the family's mobilization and the unanimous support of the nation toward the national arm. They expressed their strong emotions toward the families of the victims and prayed to Allah to receive them in His eternal paradise and to strengthen the patience and faith of the families of the missing and the wounded. Under the high patronage of the Minister of Justice in charge of Human Rights and Prison Affairs, Mr. Ali Hassan Bahdon, took place this morning at the Djibouti Palace Campiski, the official opening of the 58th meeting of the Steering Committee of the African Organization of Supreme Audit Institutions, better known as AVROSE. Out of the 56 member countries of the organization, 25 countries with more than 100 delegates, including the 12 permanent members of the steering committee of the organization, and are present at the meeting in Djibouti to discuss and put in place the mechanism necessary for transparency and good management of public finances, good governance being one of the major challenges of the continent. After Dakar in March 2024, it is Djibouti's turn to host this 58th meeting of the organization. Established in 1976 in Yaoundé, Cameroon, AVROSE is responsible for promoting good governance, transparency, and good management of public finances in African member countries through the establishment of regulatory mechanisms. The Republic of Djibouti has been a member of the organization since 2001, and in 2005 it joined one of the two technical commissions, namely the one on organizational and capacity building. In a speech, the president of the Court of First Accounts, Mrs. Ismahan Ibrahim, stressed that the African Organization of Public Financial Supervision Institutions plays a key role in promoting good governance in Africa. And for his part, the president of the well-known African Organization of Public Financial Supervisory Institutions, AVROSE, thanked the government of Djibouti, headed by the President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail Omar Guelleh, for the facilities provided for the success of this meeting. As for his part, the Minister of Justice and Prison Authority in charge of Human Rights, Ali Hassan Bahdon, referred to the general governance policy of the Republic of Djibouti based on the National Development Plan for the period 2022 and 2024 by answering the existing challenges in facilitating employment opportunities. Therefore, the government has implemented this national plan of action, he said. And this morning took place at the Sheraton Hotel a ceremony to present the progress of the DEGRA project and its results. The present at the ceremony were the Minister of National Education and Vocational Training, the U.S. Ambassador, USAID representatives, and the Vice President of the UNFD, as well as senior MENFAP staff and representatives of the entire pedagogical team. During the ceremony, the project's manager has presented the project's current results. The results were highly praised by the minister and the U.S. ambassador. And in a speech, the Minister of National Education and Vocational Training, Mr. Mustafa Mohamed Mahmoud, indicated that this moment is important, allowing them to evaluate their major projects that aim to contribute to improving reading in primary education. The results obtained at this stage are already decisive, he said, and allow us to believe that we are not only on the right track, the goals of the project will be fully achieved, God willing, he said. He added that this initiative is a basic program that they rely heavily on the support them in order to bring about significant improvement in the educational process within the schools. He expressed confidence that it will fully meet their expectations. The DEGRA project is groundbreaking, he said, and they hope to make schools successful and strive to master the basics so that every student can learn and succeed easily. And within the National Library located in Balbala, the exhibition of the book called Being All There Experience in Djibouti from 2010 and 20, edited by Michala Carazino, president of the Mediterranean Senso Handicap Association, and Mani Guanilian di Providenza, and the Bishop of Djibouti, Giorgio Bertin. This event has been presided over by the Minister of Youth and Culture, Dr. Hiba Mumina Sowe. This exhibition ceremony was attended by the Director General of the National Agency for the Disabled, ANPH, and the Acting Director General of the National Agency for the Promotion of Culture, the President of the Mediterranean Association, as well as the President of the Commune of Bulaus, many people with special needs, and local elected officials of the Commune of Balbala and Bulaus. This book traces all the activities carried out in Djibouti from 2010 to date by the association, and the association intervened since 2010 when it was established in Djibouti to support people with special needs. And giving a speech on this occasion, the general manager of ANPH said he was satisfied with the collaboration existing between the association and his department. He wished the continuity of their support. And as for the Minister of Youth and Culture, indicated that this book is an archive for the work done by the association in Djibouti. She then expressed appreciation to participate in this event while welcoming all the attendees. The Executive Secretary of Honors, Mr. Hussein Hassan Darar, took part in the work of the 73rd session of the Executive Committee of the Office of United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, which takes place on 10 to 14 October 2022 in Geneva. The annual session of the Executive Committee of the Office of the United Nations High Commissioner for the Refugees is of paramount importance because it is a space of consultation, exchange, and sharing in order to meet together the challenges related to the issue of refugees worldwide. It is also an opportunity to address issues related to the international protection and other issues related to UNHCR and governmental and intergovernmental partners. Since its independence, Djibouti has been hosting refugees, many of whom are long-term refugees. In this regard, since the commitments made by the President of the Republic of Djibouti, His Excellency Ismail Omar Guelleh, during the Summit for Refugees in New York in September 2016, Djibouti is among the first pilot countries in the implementation of the comprehensive framework of action for refugees in various national programs, and especially the National Development Plan. Moving on to the interior regions, the acting prefect of Dikhil region, Mr. Yusuf Ali, and the vice president of the regional council, Mr. Ibrahim Guro, launched the national polio vaccination campaign at the medical center in Dikhil. They were welcomed by the chief medical officer, Mr. Abbas Umar of Dikhil. The vaccination teams will be arranged in whole region in order to immunize all children under 5 years old, and thus offer them a preventive protection against the launching ceremony of the campaign will take place from 10 to 14th October. The vaccination campaign against polio is part of the prevention against the spread of polio virus in the region of Dikhil and other localities. And also the polio vaccination campaign was launched in all 4 corners of the country. For the region of Arta, it was the prefect Mohammed Sheiko and the president of the regional council, Mr. Ilmi Bouh, and other notables of the region who launched this vaccination campaign, which will target all children under 5 years old. This vaccination campaign consists of administering an additional dose of vaccine in order to protect children effectively against the effects of the polio virus. Now moving on to the international news, the United Nations Development Programme, UNDP, on Tuesday joined a chorus of agencies and charities warning that a serious debt crisis is taking hold in the world. And this is a new report to the UNDP, and that for 54 countries representing more than half of the world's poorest people now need immediate debt relief to avoid further extreme poverty and give them a chance to cope with climate change. If these states fail to restructure their debt, the report estimates that poverty will increase dramatically, and much-needed investments to protect against climate change will not materialize. UNDP warns that rapid changes in financial markets at a time of fiscal contractions and rising interest rates are stifling many developing countries. And for example, 19 countries currently pay more than 10% points more than U.S. treasuries to finance themselves in the markets, making them virtually inaccessible. The UNDP's call comes ahead of this week's meeting of G20 finance ministers in Washington as part of the annual meeting of the World Bank and International Monetary Fund, IMF. And that's all for this news. Thank you for joining us on the radio television of Djibouti, and have a good evening.